So English Channel is a stretch of water between England and France, 33 kilometers. Our third swimmer, it was his first time in the cold waters, and he swam a beautiful first hour, but he couldn't recover at all.
What's the temperature usually like?
14 to 18 degrees.
The Goa jellyfish leave their mark on you, like initials, like the whips. It's like, and then the whole line appears on your back.
Those were the most terrible ones.
Even though as an entrepreneur you have freedom of your time, but I understand how much investment is required, especially for building a startup. So how are you balancing these two?
This is more rewarding, more gratifying. Like at the end of every day, you feel like you have achieved something, and that sort of it has a different kick to you.
Do you ever feel like you're missing out on your previous life?
Both of us separately, we've arrived to a path where we've realized that we want to do impossible things.
What makes us a strong team is that we never say no.
In today's episode of the Non-Expert Podcast, we host Vrushali and Danish. They both are engineers by education and they are building their own startups. But today, we're not talking about their startup journey. Today, we're discussing their experience as open water swimmers and endurance athletes. In 2024 and 25, both of them have successfully swam from England to France, that is, they swam the English Channel, and they also swam from Sri Lanka to India over the legendary Ram Setu. Isn't it awesome? Now, what differentiates a high achiever from the rest of us is their mindset. Over the years of being in demanding roles as entrepreneurs and endurance athletes, Vrushali and Danish have developed clarity and mental toughness that sets them apart. So let's dive into the conversation to learn more about their journeys. So can you just talk about what English Channel is and how is it different from a normal swim? And just tell us, to the people who don't know anything about swimming, open water swimming, just give a little perspective and just share your story in that.
Yeah, so English Channel is a stretch of water between England and France, 33 kilometers, like the crow flies, and it is one of the busiest shipping lanes. It's a stretch of water between England and France, and swimmers gather in Dover during the English summers from June to September to swim across this channel. I think the primary challenge from this swim is the cold. So the waters are,
For us tropical folks.
yeah, specifically for us Indian
What's the
folks,
temperature usually like?
14 to 18 degrees. And like for example, for us, when we first dipped our toes in the open waters over there, we ran back within like 10 minutes of just entering those waters. And it is considered the Everest of open water swimming because it has multiple challenges. Cold is one of the challenges.
Strong tides,
Strong tides and waves, currents are pretty brutal.
weather's unpredictable, and if the wind suddenly picks up, you'll be like rolling like a roller coaster.
Has it happened to you when you were swimming?
Yeah, it happened.
During my swim last year.
And like how tough it is actually to maintain your body temperature because there's a risk of hypothermia. So is there any trick that swimmers use to actually regulate the body temperature?
So I think there are multiple things. So one is body fat helps for sure, which is why if you see many of the Diggaj open water swimmers, they carry a lot of fat with them. And like if you see them walking on the road, you would not think that they are athletes, but they are like sharks in the water. So I think body fat is one of the things that definitely professional open water swimmers put on. But apart from that, there are a lot of ways to keep your body warm. So as long as you're generating enough heat, if you start feeling cold, kick harder. In general, as long as you're putting in effort, as long as you're pulling hard, you can keep yourself warm. But the challenge is once you start feeling cold, you also start losing more energy. So it gets that much harder to generate more heat. So you cannot slack when you're swimming in the cold waters. You need to keep generating heat in order to stay warm. I think that is the primary trick. And body fat helps to certain extent.
So this 33 kilometer and you were in a team event, right? This was a team effort?
Yeah.
So one person, how long does he swim at one point of time without stopping?
1 hour. So basically, we always have a boat accompanying us. and all the team, our coach, our support crew, the pilots, everybody is on the boat. And at one point, one swimmer jumps in, they swim for an hour. After the hour, the next swimmer jumps in, this one comes out, and we keep doing that in a round robin manner till we reach the French shore.
Okay, so when somebody else from your team is swimming, what does the person who's already swam do? Like, how does the recovery look like? Okay, the Shiva.
And then try to eat, drink hot chocolate, sleep. Sleep is important. So you have to wind up everything, you have to go to sleep, and you have to shiver inside your dry rope. We have a dry rope thing, which is, it stops wind and cold and everything. And you have to sleep as much as possible.
So the key is to recover as fast as you can. For example, last year we did a four-member relay, so every swimmer got a 3-hour rest window, which is still okay enough. But this year when we did a 3-hour relay, we attempted twice. So during our first attempt, our third swimmer, it was his first time in the cold waters, and he swam a beautiful first hour, but he couldn't recover at all. So even after 1.5 hours of being on the boat, he was still shivering, he was puking, he did not even remember his time in the water.
Oh my God.
He was showing some signs of hypothermia. So our first attempt we had to abort because he couldn't recover well in those 2 hours.
And it's a mixture of fear as well. It was his first night swim in the ocean. And that plays a psychological trick on you as well. Ki raat mein kuch bhi, kya pata. Shapes in the night. I hope they are friendly dolphins. And it's all, the mind goes for a toss in open waters.
So you need to recover within 20 to 25 minutes. You need to stop shivering, you need to start feeling warm, so that you get at least an hour of rest before you jump back in again. So it's like...
So when you're in the water, your boat is accompanying you, but do you actually communicate?
So every time you breathe, you take a stroke, you breathe, you keep seeing your boat. That's your television. That's what you're watching for 1 hour. And it's a really boring channel. So they have to keep doing stuff in between.
Like last year, we had taken a whiteboard and a marker, and he was asking me riddles. He was writing jokes and
I was like, what do swimmers eat for strong shoulders? What do Marathi swimmers eat for strong shoulders? And I was like, khanda poha. Puns marne laga. So that's, you just do anything.
Yeah. Because 1 hour seems like a long period.
No, actually for relay, it's easy. So last year I had also attempted a solo. So for that, it gets very boring. I was swimming for 15 hours, and we had a cycle that every 20 minutes he writes something, so that I have 20, and the next 20 minutes I keep thinking about it, like anything. He just wrote some puzzles and I was trying to solve them while swimming. So
because for a 1 hour thing, you can sort of say, okay, 15 minutes, one quarter is done. Okay, 30 minutes, halfway to go. You can do that. In a solo, you can't. You have to disconnect yourself from the concept of time. You have to be like, I just have to keep swimming. That's it. There's no stopping. That gets you, there's a zone thing that happens in endurance sports. You have to get into that zone, and then you lose all track of time. And then you have to keep just watching this television for 15 hours. So someone would write me a message. I would write that message on the board that Ajji says, Madhi Mulgi, all that. You write that, you write puns. You show that here you are going along the track well. We are going inside France now. Good going. I'll write that we have to belt a little more. You have to go stronger for this hour. Anything. So the communication can be very frequent. It depends on the swimmer's equation. Some swimmers just like to switch off and say, I don't want any disturbance. I don't want anything. I'm retreating into my cave and I'll be swimming. Don't talk to me. Just tell me when we reach there. And then on the other end of the spectrum, some swimmers want, because they're always anxious about where am I, what time is it? So they keep needing constant validation. So it differs.
Yeah. Sounds like a very different world, How many people actually swimming with you when you're attempting these expeditions?
So there are 14 accredited pilots. So there are 2 associations which have regulated this swimming across the channel, and they have 7 pilots each. So at any point in time, only 12 are allowed to be in the water. And the period is only from June to September. So it's basically these 4 months, plus it all depends on the weather as well. So in total, there have been around 3,000 crossings of the channel.
It's amazing. And you all also have attempted and successfully completed the Sri Lanka to India route. So what is special about that? Because just from a training point of view, English Channel is very challenging when it comes to weather and the low temperatures. You will have probably the opposite conditions from Sri Lanka to India because the southern part of our country is really hot. So how do you actually navigate through the challenges and while training for it? How does it look different?
Park Strait is considered a training swim for the English Channel simply because of the time and the format if you want to test it out. Jumping in the ocean, doing.
Because like especially for Indian swimmers actually, because it is warmer waters, you are already training in the warm waters, so there is no new there are no new challenges to be found in the Park Strait. And the marine life is like, because of overfishing there are hardly any fish in those waters, so like we didn't see a single fish throughout our swim. And yeah, so basically Park Strait is comparatively much safer. We luckily got a very calm window as well, so it was almost like swimming in a lake for 9 hours. And yeah, and plus the main thing is there are no tides, no strong tides that are pushing you away from the coast, so if you keep swimming you will reach the other side, whereas that's not the case in the channel. If you are not faster than the tides, then they'll just push you back to England. So that ways Park Strait it's a good open water swim experience, and obviously it carries that historical sort of legacy, so it's special that way. But challenge wise, the challenge is only about swimming in the open waters, overcoming your fears of the night, of the marine life and everything.
And no jellyfish.
But if you do get stung by the jellyfish, then the Park Strait ones are much more terrible than the channel ones.
Definitely.
Like specifically in the channel, you sometimes just want the jellyfish to come and sting you because that will give you a little bit of heat and थोड़ी सी body गर्म हो जाएगी.
We got stung in Goa while we were long ago when we were doing our first open water
Those were the
swims.
most terrible ones.
And then when they told us, yeah, there'll be a lot of jellyfish in English, and we were like, screw that. Because the Goa jellyfish leave their mark on you, like initials, like the whips. It's like, and then the whole line appears on your back. It's crazy. We had to dip our hands in very hot water for the whole evening. मेरे को कोई खाना खिला रहा था, मैं हाथ ऐसे गर्म पानी में डाल के बैठा. That it was burning that much.
Wow. So you completed this in 2025 and 24. 2 years back to back you're attempting these.
24 was a 4-member relay.
Of the English Channel, and then in 25 we did a 3-member relay of Park Strait, the Ram Setu, and then a month back we did another 3-member relay of the English Channel.
But you all actually started to learn how to swim in 2022.
Yeah.
So within 2 years you could achieve this amazing milestone, I would say. So actually what inspired you to start to learn how to swim, and what part of the endurance sport that really attracted you towards attempting these goals?
So actually it all started in 2018 when we were out on a picnic near some waterfalls in Bangalore with friends, and it was in Chunchi Falls. So we were standing on one side of the falls, and it was like some 25 meters to the falls, and
There's a canyon in between, full of water, and the falls is on the other side. So you can see it, but to bathe in it, you'll have to swim across like 25-50 meters.
hardly 25 meters, and he was a good doggy paddler. I remembered कि बचपन में मैंने एक स्विमिंग का कैंप किया है महीने भर का, तो then obviously like swimming is muscle memory, everybody says that, so I thought कि पहुंच तो जाएंगे. So somehow I reached there, but while coming back from the falls, like it took me some 10-15 minutes to cross 25 meters. We reached there, we sat there for a minute or two, and then while coming back, I got really tired. There was this rock in the middle, which I thought कि इसको हाथ लगा के थोड़ा rest कर लेंगे, then I'll continue forward. And then when I placed my hand on the rock, because of algae and everything, it slipped. And the minute it slipped, I drowned. I started panicking. I started flapping my hands, and yeah,
I know the feeling.
I started drowning, and I was trying to shout, but everybody was a bit ahead of me. So by the time they reached land, they only saw this much of my hand outside of the waters. Then he rushed back, then he took me out, and yeah, basically that was one memory कि भाई ये वापस नहीं होना चाहिए अपने साथ.
I said I could see this much of her hand outside the water when I came. I was like, guy up to.
And but then uske baad I didn't have enough time because of work schedule and everything. So finally when I got the time in 2022, my primary goal was that I should be able to swim well enough that I can swim in the open waters. I can go back to Chunchi Falls, waterfall जाके वापस आना है 50 मीटर open water में. So that is how swimming started for me. And then because of my childhood sort of experience, I knew that you have the best experience if you're training with a coach compared to just khud se haath pair maro. So that's why I started training like with a coach, proper stroke seekhna and everything. So in Jan 2022, I started learning to swim. By June, I was able to swim 1 kilometer continuous in a swimming pool, non-stop, in the deep end and everything. And that time I was very proud of that milestone. Ki bhai, and then I started deciding ki chalo ab what next. So we first decided to do a swimathon, but Danish did not have much of a swimming background at all. He had been running, he had been cycling before, and we felt like doing it together. So then I was like, ठीक है मैं बाकी का दोनों सीख लेती हूँ, तुम swimming सीख लो. And then we signed up for our first Olympic triathlon in Kolhapur. Then May, June se Danish started learning to swim. I started running for the first time in 2022, started cycling and everything. So that is how it started.
Yeah, and you have completed half Ironman. You have done the full one. Where was this?
Full is not in India. It was in Spain.
Yeah, we don't have in India full Ironman yet, right?
So we don't have an Ironman brand. So there is a full distance triathlon in India, but Ironman brand has a half, 70.3 in India. They haven't done a full yet.
Yeah. So how do you integrate like trainings of running, cycling and swimming in a week? Because it has to be a consistent effort if you want to achieve this big goal. So if I were to ask you how many months do you invest in one event, how would you narrate that training experience?
So actually it is like ramping up a bit. So from Olympic to the first half, it was a year-long effort. But once I had ramped up to that level, then halves I could do with just maintenance training. And maintenance training has very low volume and intensity compared to a ramp-up training. So yeah, for your first half Iron, from an Olympic to a half is a year-long effort. But then every event you need 3-4 months of maintenance if you've been continuously training and maintaining. And then again, the same curve. From half when you want to ramp up to a full, another year, you keep doing 2 or 3 halves. So I did 3 half distances as a ramp up to my full and tried to go stronger and stronger in each half and all of that.
Yeah, so just building your capacity towards the highest goal.
And if you keep maintaining that, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of Ironman athletes that will just knock off full Ironmans
Yeah,
with 3-4
I mean, I've
months
seen
of
people
training.
just waking up and running a marathon, you know.
The person who did the relay with us last year, he does a full every year. And he also integrates other events in between. Like, for example, last year, he did the relay with us in August. And then he did a full Ironman in December. So he's now like hooked on to it.
Once you start, I think you can't stop because, like you mentioned, the zone, it's something different which you can't experience anywhere else, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So both of you are founders, right? You both have studied, you're engineers basically, and now you are running your own startups basically. So how do you actually integrate your challenging trainings into your work schedules? Because even though as an entrepreneur you have freedom of your time, but I understand how much investment is required, especially if you're building a startup. So how are you balancing these two?
I think we just prioritized things a lot. For example, before I got into endurance sport, my lifestyle was revolving a lot around work, socialize. So essentially it used to be, we used to start around 10 o'clock in the day, finish post midnight. But we also had a lot of कि बीच में जाके थोड़ा सा बाहर पार्टी करके आ गए. Because our entire life revolved around our work circle itself. So the lines were blurry. And there was a lot of social element, there was a lot of work element, which sort of made it seem like there is no time for any work-life balance. But then once I got into endurance sports, automatically I had to prioritize between other things in life. So previously we used to have a lot of parties, we used to have a lot of socializing was a part of our sort of lifestyle, which eventually got lesser. nowadays it is about some 4 to 5 hours of training, about 8-9 hours of work, and we are starting to sort
Eat
of
and sleep.
eat,
Rest.
sleep. Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you're missing out on your previous life? Like,
Not really. I feel like it was a sort of phase, a rite of passage. Like I'm happy that I got to enjoy that part of life as well. But this is more rewarding, more gratifying. Like at the end of every day, you feel like you have achieved something, and that sort of it has a different kick to it. And plus, it's not like we have like sannyas nahi liya hua hai. Like every month we have some or the other, like we host folks at home for game nights, we host our own music nights.
Go for hikes
Yeah.
with people.
So it's just like our socializing has changed. It has become more intentional in nature. Instead of it being passive, it is now active. Ki when we know that we are spending time with friends, it is very active. We know that this is the time we want to value, that time that we are spending with friends, instead of just hanging out. We don't hang out so much anymore.
so, when I'm speaking to you, I'm really understanding how clear you are with your thoughts, your intention, and everything that you planned out in your day. It's coming from a place where I've actually made it clear that this is my priority, this is my goal. Many people don't have this clarity. It's very easy to just borrow goals from other people, just do what everyone else is doing. So, how difficult or easy has it been for you two to understand yourself so clearly?
I would say we've also borrowed goals from other people, but how we selected those goals is, I would say, different. We always had, I think both of us separately, we've arrived to a path where we've realized that we want to do impossible things. Like we want to do stuff which is like, nahi, ye to nahi ho payega, chalo karke dekhte hain. And then see a plan there and go through it. So that's where it's different, I guess, because we are not doing impossible things per se. We are doing things that are impossible for us. Yeah. So, and then in that process, the person you become rather than what you get is your actual reward. Like we've become those people who are more energetic. We've become those people who are more curious. We've become those people who are like, I don't want to do this anymore because this won't challenge me as much. I want to do this instead. And slowly you become the person who does hard things.
Plus, what you want to do in life also comes from what you feel is lacking. Like personally for me, the first 3-4 years of building the startup were really rough because you keep taking 10 different decisions, you keep doing 20 different things every day, and you don't know if it's right or wrong. You don't get that immediate feedback. Maybe a year later you might find out कि सब सही चल रहा था, but एक साल तक you were questioning every little thing that you were doing. So you go through a lot of that self-doubt, and you don't know how much of it is because of something that you did, how much of it is because of something that your teammates did, external factors. So you start losing a sense of self in terms of and clarity कि मैं सही कर रही हूँ या गलत कर रही हूँ. And everything becomes blurry. So I was just searching for something where I know that whatever I achieve is completely because of my input, and then the output is mine. So either if I run well, I'll finish it in X time. If I don't run well, I won't finish it in X time. So I was just seeking something to get some form of self-validation, gratification, which was missing a lot because of my work life. And somehow I found it in swimming. So that's why I just held on to it and I added other things. In many cases, I have like many of the other triathletes that we have met, they sometimes use endurance sports as an escape from their work life. A few folks use it as a chance to challenge themselves because their standard life is not challenging enough. So you usually like in many cases, endurance athletes, they are lacking something in their life which they try to fill. And yeah, I mean, personally, at least I also did that as well. And yeah, I think it works out well. It is an expensive form of therapy, but you get more than what you might get out of therapy, I guess.
So when you're actually alone, on your run, you have run already like say 10 kilometers. Now your body is tired. Your brain is actually trying to tell you to stop. At that point of time, all these thoughts probably rush and try to stop you. Has it have you both ever experienced it in the first place? And then what does your self-talk sound like in these situations?
For me, it has happened while swimming. Last year, during my solo attempt, during my training, and like my training swims were also pretty long, 6 hours, 11 hours. My attempt was also 15 hours. So during that time, you get a lot. Like the first thought that you always get is क्यों कर रहे हो? मतलब there is no like nobody asked you to do this. It is like you put this problem on yourself and now you're trying to fight through it. And then you start thinking of all the excuses regarding नहीं हुआ तो भी चल जाएगा. Even if I don't swim, nobody like nothing bad is going to happen for me in my life. So the first thoughts are always negative, and then you start asking the why. कि करने की ज़रूरत तो नहीं है लेकिन आई वॉन्ट टू डू दिस फॉर दैट लेकिन आई वॉन्ट टू डू दिस बिकॉज ABC and then you start seeking some warmth, some inspiration from your why, and then this self-talk keeps happening every 20 minutes, every 1 hour, and then a lot of other thoughts sort of keep flowing past you. Just say even during meditation when they always tell you ki if some thought is coming in, let it pass. So वैसे even while swimming is some form of meditation because you have a million different thoughts, and to be very honest, for me those thoughts are very entertaining in nature because as long as they are not pulling you back from the swim, सब सही है. मतलब you can think of कि पिछले महीने का लाइट बिल नहीं भरा, to अगले महीने पापा का बर्थडे है उनको ये गिफ्ट दे देंगे, to like planning how you're going to celebrate, to planning कि अगर नहीं हुआ तो मैं ये सोचूंगी, टू प्लानिंग कि स्विम के बाद मैं यहाँ घूमने जाने वाली हूँ, टू डिसाइडिंग कि जो भी कि क्वार्टरली रोड मैप नहीं बनाया ऑफिस में. ऑल दीज थाट्स आर like you need those thoughts, like you can't not think anything during those 15 hours. So all the random thoughts that you get are very helpful. They are necessary to keep you entertained and going through those long hours. The only thoughts that can deter you are the ones which ask you क्यों कर रहे हो, but you already know क्यों कर रहे हो before you jumped in. So the answer always follows the question.
This why has to be defined. Then you keep getting inspiration whenever you need it. You want to add something to her perspective?
Yeah, I felt this during Ironman का kilometer 30 of the run. And हाँ वो cartoons में दिखाते हैं ना, इधर एक devil बैठा है, इधर एक angel बैठा है. So important to listen to both because your why is defined by both those people. Like the devil knows कि you want to be comfortable, you want to be happy. अभी जो कर रहे हो that is giving you pain and suffering. But then the angel tells you कि but you chose this because after finishing it, the amount of joy and glee you will get and fulfillment and validation you get is that comfort and happiness that the devil is talking about. And then you're like, you keep remembering, as she said, your why. Okay, why am I doing the Ironman? I just want to finish something that I thought I would never be able to do. I just want to finish it. I don't care if I do it 10 seconds, 10 minutes slower, 10 minutes faster. So, dard ho raha hai, slow down. Start doing slow walking, doesn't matter. See what happens. Once you do that, then you're like, okay, the body is fine. It can push through. Keep going, keep going. And a lot of, we all have that animal inside ourselves, the animal and the human, both sides, right? And the animal is always the id. वो psychology में बोलते हैं कि the id wants to be like, okay, now food, okay, now sleep, okay, now sex. ये सब बोलता रहता है, भौंकता रहता है वो. And you have to listen to it as well because that's what keeps you alive as well. Like fear is an important emotion because it keeps you alive. But courage is what the human side tells you, is that this fear is an instinct. This courage is a conviction that you want this and remember why you want it and push past that fear, that pain.
Wow, do you remember your entire Ironman, minute to minute?
Yeah.
You do?
I mean, yeah, it's weird because I was in zone 2 the whole time. I was in that runner's high, wala endurance high. But I also remember everything I thought and all the scenarios, that multiverse of madness, all those scenarios that, अच्छा यहाँ पे ये हो गया, क्या होगा? ये जीतने के बाद मेरे दोस्त ये बोलेंगे, मैं उनको क्या बोलूँगा? मैं कोच को कॉल करके ये बोलूँगा after finishing it. And then the biggest highs are from there, from when you fabricate those, that holding a bottle in front of the mirror and giving your award acceptance speech wala thing. And when you're actually on stage giving that speech with the actual award, That must be one of the biggest highs. So you feel similar to that when you're living that future that you planned for yourself. And when you're in that future, you're like, I just did it. There's a fucking medal around my chest. I just became an Iron Man. And then the first hard thing is the hardest. All the subsequent hard things become easier because you know what that first hard thing did for you. And you always look back and say कि उस time मैंने give up किया होता, ये जो high मुझे feel हो रहा है, I would never have gotten it. So that reinforces your why for the next hard thing. That of course those thoughts will come again. Of course I'll feel like quitting again. But I remember the first hard thing that I did, how much pleasure, how much fulfillment it gave me. Therefore I'm going to continue. So do that first hard thing. That's it. The other hard things will be easy.
That's really important, you know. It's just to face your fear actually in the first step, and then you're suddenly very powerful. And then you don't know what to do with so much power that you've suddenly gained. You're basically a superhuman version of yourself,
Yeah.
right? So, you know, I was reading about this podcast, and generally I keep reading a lot of fitness-related content on internet. So one thing that stayed with me is if you are just working out, basic workout for 40 minutes a day, or maybe 3 times a week, you're actually in top 10% of the society who's actually taking their body seriously. And you all are investing so much time in endurance training, and your fitness is obviously can't be matched with anyone around you, I would say. Like apart from the people who are also training for
We
this.
are in those circles only where everyone
Yeah.
is.
So when you actually go to your office, where you be normal people like me, can you connect with people who are not considering fitness as a top priority?
I can relate to anyone with drive. Like it doesn't have to be fitness related.
You don't have to have the same exact goal, but
Yeah,
if they are having the same passion.
different genres also. Like,
Yeah.
If you're not taking care of your body, if you feel कि body छोड़ो बे क्या gym में जाते रहते पागल लोग, I'll do more worthwhile pursuits. If you are a lot into coding or chess or mandala art, music, whatever, but you have a drive and you have that philosophy that hustle के बाद फसल, मतलब वैसा वाला philosophy, then I can relate to it. But I'm not able to relate to people who just want a even toned sort of flat curve to life, that I just want to chill all the time. Because that my philosophy is more like this कि okay, मेहनत करेंगे फल, मेहनत करेंगे फल, मेहनत करेंगे फल. So anyone who does that, anyone who pursues something with their full heart, I can relate to that. But yeah, she's right. Some people also, it's a privilege thing as well. Like some people who have grown up in a lot of hardship and faced a lot of hardships, they are more likely to lean towards a life which is now fully comfort and like comfort zone के बाहर जाने सब क्यों क्या बकवास है सब. Like even our previous generation, they fought hard to get where they were and they wanted a comfortable life, and from there they wanted stability. That अब इतना माथा पच्ची नहीं चाहिए. I just want a comfortable, flat life, dependable, predictable life is my dream. And we've started from there. And for us now, predictable and comfortable is boring.
We need to fabricate our own challenges and
Yeah.
then feel the gratification.
Yep. So that story curve, everybody wants some sort of, I think, romanch there. And since we didn't have any, we created our own. But maybe some people already had too much of it, and they didn't overcome problems that they chose. They overcome problems that they were born with or the world forced upon them. So they might want to live a comfortable life now. They are done with hustling. Right. So I can relate to that philosophy as well. But if I were to choose a circle of friends, that would be more people who are currently pursuing something and hustling.
So talking about you two, how long have you been together?
2018, 7 years.
7 years. So you've been witnessing your journeys very closely, you know. Any endurance sport changes you as a person, especially at a mental level. I have seen so many people just transform into totally different versions of themselves. I'm sure you have some parts of you that you didn't recognize before. So how has it been to actually witness somebody you've known for so long transform into their better version?
We were very lucky that we got to start this journey together, and we lived the life before endurance, getting into endurance, and after. Like, but I think as a person we didn't change much. जैसे पहले से ही चुल बहुत थी. Like before we started before we started swimming, doing triathlons, we had a lot of energy, so we were like हर महीने घूमेंगे. So every month we used to travel to different places in India. उसके पहले we were COVID था, तो we weren't traveling, but before that we were like game nights रखेंगे. So every other weekend we were hosting game nights. We were hosting Qawwali nights.
We designed our own board games.
We created our own games. So I think the chul factor remained, which sort of now translated into sports endurance, and we are channeling it in a single direction instead of before we were applying it in 10 different things. So I think as a person we were just able to identify some qualities which are now applying well to endurance, and then doubling down on it. So वैसे I think I feel as person we are still similar people, and this journey has been really fun because, and it is really fortunate that we have a partner who goes through the same grind as us, because we are starting almost from zero together, in swimming at least. In other things he was a bit ahead of me, so we understand when the other person is dejected. We understand the joy of like bringing your pace down from a 220 to 215, which wouldn't mean anything for an outsider, but for us it is like a huge achievement. So वैसे we are able to understand the nuances in things, and it is good that we are each other's cheerleader and competition at the same time. So we can always look at the other person and feel like यार वो मेरे से आगे कैसे चला गया, but also cheer for them कि यार बढ़िया तुम आगे चले गए. So that kind of a dynamic is, it's fun to have somebody at the same place in the journey as you.
Yeah. Do you hold each other accountable when you're training? Because it's a long period. There might be some days where you want to just sleep, right? Sleep in. So are you strict with each other when it comes to training?
I don't think we are strict to each other. I think we infect each other with whatever mood
Okay.
is changing.
I mean, our off days are really off. मतलब हम उठ के दरवाजा भी नहीं खोलते. Like we turn off the bell, उतना off रहता है हमारा. So this was the first thing our triathlon coach told us. There are 4 pillars to triathlon training. There is swimming, cycling, running, and rest. And the 4th is the most important. And we sometimes take undue advantage of that line, but but when one person is slothing around in the bed, we just repeat this line and the other person joins in. But yeah, I mean, I think recovery and rest is it. I mean, we realize that it's really important, and which is why we time those days well as well. Like we either time them right before the longest workout or right after, so that we feel that it was a well-deserved rest. And then on those days we just sloth around, and then there are other days as well where we really bunk our workouts and not do things. But then some like both of us are accountable in ourselves कि 1-2 दिन के बाद खुद ही guilt आ जाता है. So when we see the other person going through that rabbit hole, we let them, because we have seen them come out of it within a day or two. So we know कि it will pass, and we have seen a lot of those phases that we know कि 3 दिन में वापस ये pool में कूदने वाली है.
What's the best thing? Like you said, you are each other's competitors and cheerleaders. So as an athlete, as a colleague in this sport, what do you admire about each other the most? Give me one quality.
I think with Danish, I admire, like अभी तक I have not seen him hit the ball. Like I don't know what his limit is अभी तक. Like even after Ironman, वो खुद अपनी cycle उठा के चला है. Because there were stairs and वो like जो भी. So I haven't yet seen him hit the ball. So and like, so he, like I always call him कि he is my handyman. Like मेरे को किसी भी चीज़ में कभी भी दिक्कत होती है, I know कि he'll be there. So I can always depend on him. During a relay swim, we know that we are not going fast enough, and I know कि Danish is going to jump in. And if I just tell him कि देखो ये घंटा पेलना है, and I know कि वो पेलेगा. So उस हिसाब से he is like very dependable, and yeah, I mean, I haven't seen him hit the limit yet. So I know कि everything that we are doing is inside his scope of what he can do. So that is very impressive and irritating for me as well, because he's a very tough competitor to have, because you know that he'll always like when you know that it is a competition, you know he'll always beat you, Like sprint करना है तो he'll always be 2 seconds faster. तो वैसे it's very admirable and irritating.
For her, it's I would say laser sharp rationality that Vrushali has. Crazy. It's just she's been through 2 failed attempts of the English channel, and I've seen her go through that 5 stages of grief, and she bounced back. She rationalized it herself, and she unweaved all those strands in her mind, and she came up with an answer. She came up with a plan. It's just crazy. I mean, a lot of people get defeated, have like permanent scars and like mental wounds.
They can't accept it fully.
Yeah. Vrushali is iron. Like, वो तो काफी सही है. And I don't know if she has self-doubt. I've never seen her have self-doubt. She has her mind is always like a conference room where she is listening to everyone, but she's not obeying any one specific person. Like there is self-doubt sitting in her boardroom. There is insecurity. There is willpower. There is all of these members in her boardroom. But she is the leader of that boardroom in the end. A lot of people, I think, जब दिमाग में सेल्फ डाउट आता है वो सेल्फ डाउट की सुन लेते हैं. जब दिमाग में विल पावर आता है वो विल पावर की सुन लेते हैं. सो दे कीप स्विंगिंग बिटवीन emotions. They keep obeying their emotions. I think Vrushali listens to her emotions, but she takes a collective decision. So that is very, very admirable. Ki how to be the master of your brain, but also listen to all the thoughts and still be the master. That is crazy.
Great. What is the thing that makes you two a stronger team together? Because you are from different backgrounds, right? You studied engineering, but yeah, in different backgrounds. Colleges were different. You have had your own journey that is very inspiring to each other. So how do you complement each other? Because both of you are like alpha, right? If I were to say that. So what does a average Wednesday afternoon look like in Vrushali and Danish's life?
What makes us a strong team is that we never say no. We don't think कि ये नहीं कर सकते. Like we always start thinking of a plan to do it. जैसे अभी just last 2 weeks back we were in Scotland, we were traveling, and then we saw while traveling we saw a lot of camper vans. We saw a lot of folks in camper vans, and then Danish was like कि यार ये भी करना है. Then I was like करते हैं. And then now we are actually planning कि अगर अगले साल हमारा सोलो स्विम हो जाएगा तो we will travel through Europe in camper van for a month or so. So, I mean, that was a very simple example, but in general in life, whenever somebody thinks of doing something, there are always a million reasons to not do them. But both of us, we always, like, we never really say no to something. We would say not now. जैसे he likes to do 10 different things always. Like, अगर Instagram पे कोई reel आ गया of diving in Hawaii, he'll be like, यार ये क्यों नहीं कर रहे? And then I'm like कि ठीक है 2 साल बाद करेंगे when we are going there for something else. Nothing is really out of the books. Everything it keeps getting added to our list.
And we are always aware that team Vrudan is the team. Like कुछ भी हो तो वो problem है, ये team है, हमको solve करना है वो. So that always gives you that certainty that this is your teammate, this is your partner, and you have to work as a team. So even if we are both alpha, in some things she's the alpha, so I'm like, you take the lead. In some things I'm the alpha, so I'm like, I'll find out, I'll do that. And so वैसे we have figured out that dynamic. It's like jamming. So 2 great musicians can jam together and can also fuck it up. It depends on how long you've played together. And the more you keep playing together, the more you figure out the equation. So we've reached there now.
I would love to talk about your music. You have published books as well as you have created a beautiful album, right? And I've seen your Instagram reels. You sing with a partner, right? You're a trained vocalist, basically, and
I'm not a trained vocalist.
You're not trained, but you are really pro in what you're doing. So, what has been your journey with music, and how does it integrate with your other challenges, be it work or be it your endurance training? Does it help? Is it like a place where you look for inspiration?
Yeah. For sure. Music journey was essentially, I think the spark was Sikkim trip pe I had gone with parents, and then some dude was just playing a tune on the street, like a street flute vendor. And he was playing a tune on the flute, and there were mountains in the background, and there's just some neural sparks went off in my mind. This is amazing. Like this is the dream. And then I bought that flute, and then I tried foo उस पे पूरा. Then my elder brother broke it. Then I was like, नहीं मैं अच्छे से सीख के आऊँगा. बाहर किसी को तोड़ना नहीं चाहिए वापस. And then I went to Ustad Mohammad Dekhaiya, Bhavnagar mein, and I learnt with him for 2 years. And he taught me basics of Hindustani, and then I used to try to sing and figure out what he's saying to me, and then played on the flute and all of that, and then developed my training a little bit. 10th mein sab chhoot gaya, cause board exams, and you gotta be top in everything, otherwise bhooke maroge, middle class wala, that indoctrination. And then I entered college, and BITS Pilani has a really good music club, very talented musicians. I was zero there, and I was like, please take me and teach me something. And they were like, okay, fine. You have decent music sense. We'll figure out what you can do. There I learned a little bit of keyboard and a little bit of singing. Then just general musical awareness increased. There I really fell in love with music in college. And what music helped me with is passing that time by just my mind joining the band that my body was. My body is composing, mind was also like, chalo kuch, let's set it to tune. Let's set your swimming to a tune. And then I would compose songs while I was running or cycling. And sometimes I would take qawwalis, 1 hour long qawwalis, and just repeat them in my mind. Because people are like, 5 minute ka gana hai, 12 baar bolenge, 1 ghanta ho jayega, pani se nikal jayenge. I'm like, 1 qawwali is all I need, 1 hour long it is. 1 hour finished. So that's been my equation with music.
So your music travels with you wherever you go.
Yeah, everywhere. She also know, I keep humming, I keep figuring out harmonies, I keep playing tunes. I also keep making up really NSFW parodies of songs,
Wow.
lyrics and music that she's been exposed to a lot. So things like that, I just keep creating in general. So I like that aspect.
Love that. Currently, like most people know you through your page, your Instagram page, where you're actually documenting your journey through fitness and your other travels world over. But now you also started to talk about and address some issues, and I think I studied your page basically, and I found that the most response that you're getting is where you're actually being very vulnerable and very unapologetic about what you feel and how you're leading your life in your way. So how did you get inspired to actually speak about these things beyond your fitness challenges and general fitness related content? Why do you think it is important to talk about these things?
So actually, the first solo attempt that I did, and after I was pulled out of the water, I shared about it. I just said कि I failed to swim the channel. You can say कि it was because the tides were strong. You can say कि it was because the weather was bad or the day was wrong. किसी और दिन कर लेती. अगर So basically, there could be 10 different reasons, but the primary reason is I didn't reach France within that time. If I was faster, तो मैं 15 घंटे में पहुंच जाती. Because I was not as fast, it would have taken me 20 hours, and the window was not good enough for 20 hours. I was pushed to the shipping lane, and that's why I had to be pulled out. And when I shared that, I got a lot of messages, I got a lot of DMs from people saying कि it is good to know that people who are doing, basically it's just good to know failure stories because nobody talks about them. And I mean, that just struck a chord that it doesn't make sense to only share your achievements. It makes sense to just share what you're going through, your life in general. And then when we started posting about what we are going through, basically after we swam the relay, then we did Yodha, then we did OG 300. So basically when we kept sharing about our things, we kept getting messages, questions from people about different things, about life there, life here, what are your plans, comments from relatives, this and that. So basically whatever comes our way, if we have a formulated thought around it, we just put it out there. And I felt safe putting it out there because I shared a few things before, and then it helped a few people. And then I realized कि ठीक है, बात कर लेते हैं, हमारा क्या जा रहा है.
So, like, last question I'll ask you all. What is the impact that you two want to have, with your activities and with your goals. I know it's for you. You want to be a better version of yourself. You want to feel that untapped potential being actually utilized. But beyond that was an impact that you too want to have.
I want people to break their glass ceilings. Like basically, we all define what we are capable of and not ourselves before doing something. There's this quote by a very strong swimmer, Andy Donaldson. He said, "He who thinks he can and he who thinks he can't are both right." Because the first step before anybody else believes it is you should believe it. And I think even when we share all of these stories, just drowning to swimming the English Channel story, we got DMs from some 20-30 people talking about how some experience in their life before caused them to have fear of water, and then they took their first swimming class. Our own personal doctor in Bangalore started swimming after giving us medical certificates for all of the swims that we are going on. So I think that inspired us to do more, to share more also. So I think one of the things is just for people to break their glass ceilings. You decide that you can't do something, which is why you don't do it. And then when you see somebody else doing it, somebody like you feel कि यार वो कर सकती है तो मैं भी कर सकती हूँ. So many swimmers from India reached out to us after our Park State swim asking us कि I think I can also do it. What is the procedure? So I think that inspires us to do more. So I think that. And then from my personal experience, I just want more women to take decisions for themselves. Because that is something that, again, like girls come up to me and say ki I am going through this and then I can't do XY. Basically anything, like I want to move out of my house and stay here, but I'm not allowed to. I want to marry somebody, but I'm not allowed to. I want to switch my job, whatever, but I'm not allowed to. I think that allowed to is something that I don't think it should matter. Because if it doesn't matter to a man, it shouldn't matter to a woman as well. And yeah, I think if we are able to impact any number, like just like as many people as possible to just, break their ceiling and take life in their own hands, that would be amazing.
Love that. What about you?
Same. I think being adult onset everything is what most people are going through as well. That a lot of people in our generation also were told that, okay, this is what you have to do. You have to study hard. You have to get a really good paying job. And then life jhakas ekdam. You spend a lot of money. You enjoy. You raise a family and have fun. And then they've started going through this quarter life crisis, and now they are like, kya kare? Like, we were not told the plan beyond this. And a lot of people, friends, etc., they tell us, they message us, they come up to us and say ki, what you guys are doing is so inspiring. We could never do it. But that statement scares me. We could never do it, wala. Which is where what she said, break the glass ceiling. Ki we are the same, man. We didn't start with anything. We were also in the pool going like, breathing like this. And from there, we went to being like comfortable in water enough. Okay. So there is intention and then there is a plan. I think everybody has the intention. Everybody has that chul, which is why we get a lot of engagement, right? Ki they see something vicariously. They're like, ki, oh man, if I were in their place, wow, imagine being in their place. Oh, this sounds so surreal, swimming from Sri Lanka. So they have that intention of doing something. And it's a aimless, directionless intention. And the plan is always out of reach for them. They're like, ki, acha, job hai to nahi kar paunga, ya family hai to nahi kar paunga, etc., etc. And then they change the goal because they're like, nahi, all of these things are in the way. I can't do it. It's unrealistic. These people, they must have left everything else, just focus on this. That's why they are doing it. But it's not. It's change the plan, not the goal. Like, if you have that intention of doing something, do it. Like, figure out a plan. And we want to be an example of that. Okay, these people, they knew nothing. They were shit swimmers. And from there, they are now swimming the English Channel. So they are ordinary people. They must have done something extraordinary. So what did they do which was extraordinary? Can we do that as well? We want to be examples of that. That's all.
I love that. So on this note, Team Rudan, like you said.
Yeah.
We are signing off, and I hope you keep inspiring everyone and just try to push yourselves to do amazing things. So thank you
Always.
again for coming
Thank you
here.
for having us.
Thank
It
you for
was
hosting
a
us.
very fun
Thank you.
conversation.